I could never have conceived of that in a million years, especially when I wrote that song back in 2007, at a time when I was probably the most frustrated in my life because I'd been, investing in my songwriting and my music career for so many years, but nothing much was happening.
Thanks a lot, Kashy, for being interviewed by me. I really appreciate your time. You are live from England, and I'm in Hong Kong. Hours of difference. I think it's very late at in your time zone, right?
Yes, I believe that we're 8 hours behind you. So as we speak, it's quite late now.
Yeah, all
But
right.
I'm grateful to be
So
speaking to
if you
you.
have energy, I'll talk to you till you drop. So we'll see how long will you let me talk to you. But let me
Yes.
start with your recent trip to Hong Kong. It's such an awesome trip, and it really affected the Hong Kong people, the people who support Hong Kong TV, the right to have another station that they could love with shows that they want to see. So tell me about a little bit about the trip itself. So how long did you end up like? From the moment that you left England to the time that you are back to UK, how many days was it? And I bet, given the short duration of time, you probably weren't totally adjusted to the time difference, and you were back already.
Mm,
What was it? When did you come and when did you leave?
right. Well, I mean, it was arranged last Wednesday, and then on
When was last
last,
Wednesday? Like what date was it?
I don't know the exact date,
Okay,
but
last
it was,
Wednesday. But go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
yeah, last Wednesday, and then by the last
Mm-hmm.
Thursday evening, I was flying out to Hong Kong,
Mm-hmm.
and I arrived there on the Friday afternoon,
Right.
and pretty much from then the kind of schedule was quite packed. I
Mm-hmm.
had to rehearse obviously before Friday's performance, which I did
Mm-hmm.
before a crowd outside the central government offices in
When
Hong Kong.
when you said rehearse, like did you go to a room, a studio to
No,
rehearse, or just rehearse anywhere you stand?
no, it was straight out onto the stage, and there was
Oh
already
right, no
set.
rehearsal.
So I rehearsed in front of a crowd.
Oh right,
And
I see what you mean.
so yeah, thrown in at the deep end, but
Mm.
it was, it was all part of the experience. And to be honest with you, my head's still kind of spinning, trying to take it all in because,
Te-
as I said at the time,
yeah, go
it
ahead.
was incredibly surreal.
Tell me what was it
It
like?
was only a few days. It
Mhm.
was only a few days, but so much happened in that space of time. And honestly, it was the best weekend that I've had, I think, in my entire life.
Really, that's awesome. Like from downstage and whatnot, you look so composed and you look so into the whole thing. But from your view, you see lights, cell phone lights light up the whole scene. How did you feel? Like, do you feel the kind of the words? Did you kind of link back to the day that you wrote the song years ago? I don't know what year, and then like the moment, the live performance in front of a crowd that moved.
Mhm.
What were you thinking on stage?
I was incredibly moved by it. As I said, I was incredibly touched that the song had been embraced in the way that it has been, and for me to actually see that, in reality, there with all those people, as you say, holding their phones, and I could feel, how much they kind of appreciated me being there as well, to give that performance. So it was overwhelming, and I could never have conceived of that in a million years. Especially when I wrote that song back in 2007, at a time when I was probably the most frustrated in my life because I'd been, investing in my songwriting and my music career for so many years, but nothing much was happening.
How many years at the time? 2010.
Oh, I think probably by then I'd been going at it about 10 years.
Wow, 10 years.
And literally
Mm-hmm.
every free moment I had was taken up with songwriting. I
Mm-hmm.
would be in my parents' living room at the time with my keyboard, and I would spend their entire days, sometimes 14, 15 hours, just going at it, writing songs. And my parents used to say I used to come out at the end of the day looking like, like a mad Amadeus or Mozart. I had long hair at the time, and
Mm-hmm.
it you know, all kind of disheveled and everything. So I was so devoted. It was an
Mm-hmm.
all-consuming passion. It was music was my absolute life,
Mm-hmm.
but I kept
And you held a full-time job too at the time, right? You were a successful journalist at the time already, right?
at the time I take a break from
Oh,
journalism.
you took some
Yeah,
time off.
just doing any odd job, any kind of menial job,
Mm-hmm.
from cleaning
Wow.
to office work,
Mm-hmm.
anything you can think of really, just to fund studio time to record
Mm-hmm.
songs
Right.
because studio time is very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to work hard doing lots of kind of temporary jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Right. Yeah, you
and but
told me like in '99 you were already a young award-winning journalist and you have been like doing reporting for a long time. But for those time when you're writing songs and trying to record and whatnot, you took time off to do just that.
Yeah, I mean, I started with my kind of career in journalism very early,
Mm-hmm.
um, probably around the age of 12. Um,
Wow, 12.
I would, I would come home from school, I would think
Mm-hmm.
up ideas for different magazines and newspapers. I would find out the names of the editors and the features editors, and I would send them, call them up, tell them about the ideas, fax them over ideas and things. And I used to get work through doing that. And
Mm-hmm.
I started that really young. And then I did some presenting on a children's news program on the BBC here called News Round.
BBC is
Um,
yeah, great station.
I got to interview people like Steven Spielberg,
Oh, that's cool. Mm-hmm.
yeah, lots of different, pop music artists and
Mm-hmm.
things. Um, but then I kind of took a break from that because music took over,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been writing poetry since I was really young,
Mm-hmm.
and I wanted to start putting music to the poems.
Mm-hmm.
And I had taken piano lessons when I was from about the age of 7, just to learn the rudiments, to learn the basics.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I didn't know any other musicians, so out of frustration, I kind of took to my keyboard and I started to work on putting, chords to these poems that I was writing, which
Mm-hmm.
evolved into songs eventually. And I just
Yeah.
kept on, working up my craft and trying to develop it, and then eventually started going to a local studio and recording the songs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and trying to get interest in the music industry, trying to get a record deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hearing your long struggle and now successful music career, like it's kind of and especially the song "This Is My Dream," the lyrics it's kind of like it's uncanny in a way that it's almost like a commissioned song for Hong Kong television or by Ricky, the kind of struggle that they are going through right now. So
Yes.
tell me a little bit about how did the connection come about? Like how did Ricky or HKTV ask you to license your song to be their theme song for the television station? And now I guess the subsequent turning of it to be kind of a rally song. What was that process like? So I guess the business question, like first, how did that connection come about?
Well, I was initially
Mm-hmm.
contacted by a website called Reverb Nation
Mm-hmm.
um, in like autumn last year, autumn 2012, around September time. And they said they'd had a request from Universal Music in Asia
Oh.
to use my song, This Is My Dream,
Mm-hmm.
for use in Hong Kong television as the theme tune for one of their programs called The
Mm-hmm.
Challenge.
Not the
And
challenge.
also,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and also as for some advertising campaigns
Mm-hmm.
for the network as well. And would I be interested
Mm-hmm.
in having them use my song? Well, of course,
Yeah.
I was delighted. I was
Yeah.
absolutely thrilled that they'd picked my song. And I think a music supervisor at Hong Kong Television had found it on this website,
Mm-hmm.
Reverb Nation,
Oh, I see.
and contacted them.
Mm-hmm.
So they made the introduction,
Mm-hmm.
and then I negotiated a single song publishing contract with Universal Music in Asia,
Mm-hmm.
and Hong Kong Television had the kind of green light to use my song,
Mm-hmm.
which they did.
Mm-hmm.
Next I heard of it is when they had their I think their naming ceremony, which was
Mm-hmm.
in Christmas, December time last year, and they did a performance of Hong Kong artists performing "This Is Our Dream."
Mm-hmm.
So, and then seeing that video was,
Seeing the Hong Kong artists performing your song, right? You
yeah,
mean like when they, yeah, kind of launched their station or something.
they
What was
performed.
it like for you?
It was amazing.
Mm,
I believe it that, on the other side of the world,
yeah.
people were, embracing my song, and then it was growing in kind of popularity. People were getting to hear it, and that's
Mm,
all I wanted,
right.
was because I'd worked so hard all those years, writing song after song after song, was just to have the opportunity for people to hear it.
Mm.
And finally, it looked as though that was beginning to happen.
Right. So
And
at this point, Kashy, I have to put my MBA and business reporter hat on for a moment. So with the licensing deal, did you get a per use licensing, like the fee payment to you, like every time the more they use, the more they pay, or it's one time forever, or is it like per year? What was it like? What was the deal structure?
we did a one-time payment. At least Hong Kong Television
Mm,
paid me a one-off fee to use the song, which, to be honest with you, it was not about the money. It was
mm-hmm.
about the fact that the song was
It's
getting
going to be
some
heard.
exposure
Right.
and people were going to be able to hear it. My
Mm-hmm.
motivation for writing songs
Right.
has always been to give back what music has given me, because in
Mm-hmm.
my darkest moments in life, for
Mm.
which there have been many, it's always been music that I've turned to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always been music that I've leaned on emotionally, that has got me through adversity, that's got me through, the lows in my life, and inspired me and given me some hope. And in
Mm-hmm.
my own small way, I wanted to, perhaps be able to do that for other people through writing my own songs.
Right.
The ultimate reward is when people write to me and say that song's inspired me, or that song's given me some hope, or
Mm-hmm.
that's priceless to me.
Right.
And I was always raised with the belief that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, my measure of success
Mm-hmm.
is if you can genuinely make a positive difference in one other person's
Mm.
life, then your life has been worthwhile.
Wow.
It's
Very
not about
inspiring.
material gain. It's
Mm-hmm.
not about financial gain for me.
Mm-hmm.
Look, we're born into this world with nothing,
Mm-hmm.
and we leave this world with nothing. All the material things, all the finances that we might gain over that time, they're kind of immaterial,
Mm-hmm.
because it doesn't mean anything. At the very most, people remember you for how you made them feel.
Mm-hmm.
They don't remember you because you had a flash car, or you
Yeah.
lived in an expensive neighborhood, or you wore nice clothes, or you wore, they, at the very most, they remember how you made them feel. And
Mm-hmm.
I wanted in my life to be able to, inspire someone in a positive way,
Mm.
or put back something into society that's positive,
Yeah.
that's got some substance to it, that people can take and use in a constructive and positive way. And I think songwriting was hopefully going to be my vehicle in
Mm-hmm.
which to do that. That's
Yeah.
why receiving so many messages after that performance in Hong Kong has been so validating
Mm-hmm.
and fulfilling, because it is my dream was to try and inspire, and
Mm-hmm.
that's worth more than any money that
Mm.
anybody could ever.
Right, right, yeah. And on this note, like, which is why when I asked you, when right after the performance, did you think about the repercussion of coming to Hong Kong and performing, knowing that, or may not be knowing that, or the Chinese government may not be happy, or some, at least the Hong Kong government may not be happy about your performing in support of Hong Kong television. And instead of me answering, I want to hear you again. Like, you weren't thinking about the long-term money repercussion, right? That totally. You want to support Hong Kong television and the people of Hong
Yeah,
Kong.
I wanted to support Hong Kong television because they had supported me in
Mm-hmm.
choosing my song,
Mm-hmm.
and, putting it out there, and the response already that I was getting from people was so positive.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't thinking about anything political,
Mm-hmm.
and, to this day, I'm not invested or even interested in that side of it.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's about the creativity that's in Hong Kong television, the hard work that's gone into it, and supporting that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these people have worked so hard, and what they created is, you know, outstanding. It's really of value, and I think that the Hong Kong public, you know, they see that
Right.
with Hong Kong television, that you know, they're trying different things. There's a whole creative movement going on with it, you know, and I think that's what I was supporting, and that's what I was there to support. And the whole kind of political scene, you know, behind the scenes, I wasn't really that aware of that situation.
Right, right. So you, if I understand correctly, you had two performance, live performance. One was the first one at the headquarters of the Hong Kong government, SAR government. The other one was in Mong Kok. How was the Mong Kok experience like? You are standing right in front of the crowd. They're literally feet away. And then from what I saw after the performance, people came up to you and have photographs taken with you. What was that whole experience like from your perspective?
Again, it was completely surreal. I mean, it was very spontaneous. It was last minute. Just before I was due to fly back to London, we went down to Mong Kok there and performed where the street performers usually perform. And they very kindly gave me the microphone to sing "This Is My Dream." But it was great to be down there with the people and to be so close, and to I really enjoyed that experience. It was it was great.
Yeah, people came up to you and asked to have a photo taken with you, and I think many thank you for your support of Hong Kong television, or support of their cause, right?
Yeah, I mean, I took, during my time there, even though it was just a few days, I took pictures with hundreds of people. On the event on the Friday, I think, you know, over 100 people I had my picture taken with. And again, when I went down to Mong Kok as well, there was people there, and just to see that support is again is very touching for me.
Yeah. So how many days were you in total in Hong Kong?
I was there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, so 3 days.
3 days, and you flew back on Sunday already.
Yeah.
Right. So I have to ask this. I mean, I used to be one of the many Hong Kong student ambassadors, so I have to ask the tourism question, obligatory. So what are some of the sites you went to visit in Hong Kong, and did you enjoy them?
Yeah, well, my time was very limited, obviously, because I was only there for 3 days, and a lot of that was taking up with the performing and doing other bits and pieces. But we did go to the Peak.
Night or day?
It was kind of around sunset.
Oh, wow.
And so I
like for you?
particularly enjoyed that. Obviously, the views are stunning, and I find Hong Kong really interesting because you've got like the mountains, you've got the like the metropolis with all the buildings, and then you've got, I guess you've got the beaches there as well. That some of Hong Kong television were telling me, because I love the beach, because I grew up living right by a beach, and they say next time I come, they would love
Brighton,
to, you know, show.
Did you grow up around Brighton?
In a town called Worthing, which is very near Brighton.
Oh, okay. Right.
Literally 30 seconds from the beach I lived. So it's
So from the beach, what was it like for you? Sorry.
As I said, the views were stunning. I loved it there, and the air up there is so good quality. That's one.
Right, as opposed to ground level air.
Yeah, and it reminded me again of being at the beach with like the sea breeze.
Right.
But yeah, it's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. I think Hong Kong, you know, overall, you kind of got everything there. You have the city, you have the mountains, you have the beach. It's amazing, and there's so much more for me to explore there. And I really hope I'll be coming back soon.
Oh yeah. Did you try some? There are many other sites worth seeing too. Did you try some of the food in Hong Kong? What kind of things you tried?
Yes, they took me out. We have a joke because my favorite, like Chinese food, me and my family would used to have Chinese takeaway every Saturday. And so growing up, I grew to love chicken in black bean sauce.
Oh, okay.
This is my favorite. So the guys at Hong Kong television who were looking after me, they were trying to find a restaurant that would serve chicken in black bean sauce because that's all I kept going on about. I didn't get to have it because, well, I had many other very
Mm-hmm.
tasty, very nice, like authentic food.
Right.
So I can't complain. Probably the best food that I had was when I went to Ricky Wong's house. He
Yeah.
invited me there for dinner one evening, and a family dinner. His family was there as
Mm-hmm.
well, and they cooked, and it was,
Was
you
it
know, as a,
Chinese or was it Western food? What was it? Uh,
it's Chinese.
Chinese? Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Right. So,
very
was, was that the first time you met Ricky Wong in person, or what was it like this time around at least?
yeah. No, that's the first time that I
Mm-hmm.
met Ricky Wong, and it
Mm-hmm.
was shortly after I'd just been to the Peak,
Mm-hmm.
and he very kindly invited me to his house, and
Mm-hmm.
it was an honor to go there. You know, the fact that he invited me into his home
Mm-hmm.
and to join his family for dinner,
Mm-hmm.
and he, as I said, I posted a statement on Facebook. He was, you know, fascinating man. He just his life story is incredible. He's had such humble beginnings, and what he's been able to achieve over the course of his life is quite
Mm-hmm.
staggering, really.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Did you get
and I think
inspired by him a little too? And at the same time, I think he may, well, he probably get inspiration from your song too, right? Talk a little bit about that kind of exchange.
yes. Well, I think we obviously share what came across as his drive and his tenacity. He told me that he often works 18-hour days.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
And he was always motivated by the challenge, especially when people would, you know, tell him that he couldn't do something. His motivation would be to prove them wrong and say, you know, I'll show you. And he did, you know, because this man is obviously very driven, he's very determined to achieve what he has achieved in his lifetime.
Yeah.
Um,
In his
I think,
previous career as in the telecom industry, he kind of make his a big bucket of gold, and now in the television industry, trying.
yes. Yes, yes,
Mm-hmm.
and he reminds me very much. I think like our equivalent, he would be like a Richard Branson type
Mm-hmm.
of person. That entrepreneurial spirit,
Mm-hmm.
and that drive and that determination, as I said.
Mm-hmm.
And I can empathize. I can kind of understand to a certain extent because I've always been very driven myself. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the lyrics to "This Is My Dream" kind of are
Mm-hmm. Yeah, oh
self-explanatory.
yeah, totally, yeah.
In
So
that
did he talk about like how did he come about your song? How like how much involvement was it him in picking the song? And well, put it this way, end up at least in this exact moment, this song really feel like it's commissioned for the situation.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, those were his exact words. What
Mhm.
you've just said. He
Really?
felt that the
Mm.
song was such a perfect fit for Hong Kong television, with the lyrics and everything. And the first time he heard it, he said he thought that the song had been especially written for Hong Kong
Really?
television
Mm.
because the lyrics fitted so perfectly. Um, he also told me that on a personal level he loves the song and he often listens to it when he goes hiking and it gives
Mm-hmm.
him motivation.
Mm-hmm.
So that was very nice to hear, you know. So
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, the first line, I have no choice, I'm in too deep. My heart was born to follow this dream and I can't back down. I won't give in. Like, wait a minute. It's like, well, he has no
yes,
choice now. Well, it's too deep.
yeah,
It's like,
yes, yes,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean it's amazing. I guess it's fate in a way, you know, and I never in a million years imagined that you know that kind of the song would get paired with Hong Kong television, and it is the perfect fit. Really,
Hmm.
it's amazing.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, at the end of the day, like you said, the key for, well, let me ask you, the key is definitely the impact you have on the people who listen to your song, or in this case, using your song to inspire each and every one of us, I guess, if I can take it off my reporter hat for a moment, is inspiring the people of Hong Kong that, hey, things can change, and this doesn't have to be the case with the
Mm.
Hong Kong television situation.
Yeah, I think my own life is an example how things can change in the space of a weekend. I
Mm.
mean, before then, as I said, I
This
never could.
weekend, you mean?
Yeah,
Not
this
like long past special
no,
weekend. It's
no, this
this
past
weekend,
weekend,
really.
what happened? I never could conceive that that would. I never imagined in my life that that would happen. Um, and at times, when I felt, close to giving up and thinking, well, let's just concentrate on journalism because the music's not really happening at all. But then life comes and surprises you just when you're
Mm.
ready to give up, when you think there's no hope,
Mhm.
when you think you've done all that you can, then and like a miracle can happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to comprehend, but it does happen. I mean,
Right.
I can testify because it's happened in my own life,
Right.
and you know,
Cashy, it would be my bet not to ask you for this. If you don't want to, or if you're not ready, if it's too late, it's fine. At this moment, I have to ask you to. Can you sing the first few lines of your song? I just like looking at your lyrics. Yeah, that would be awesome if you can just sing 2 lines. I know it's very late, but you can say
Oh,
no.
yeah, okay, I'll try and sing a couple of lines of the beginning for
All
you.
right.
Okay. I haven't warmed up or
I know,
prepared.
I know. Yeah.
If it's terrible, you can cut it out.
All right. Trust me, people who watch this and listen to this won't find it terrible. They will all be inspired by you.
Okay. I have no choice. I'm in too deep. My heart was born to follow this dream. 'Cause the passion I feel inside is too strong to lay down and die. 'Cause this is my life, this is my dream, this is the reason my heart beats. I'd rather fight each day of my life than give up belief. 'Cause this is my heart, this is my soul, this is the only love I've known. My will to try grows weaker with time, but I won't give in. 'Cause this is my dream. There you go.
Thanks a lot, Kashi. Watching you sing and whatnot, I'm touched totally, and I'm sure viewers who watch this later will be touched too. But I can't help but think of the video that you posted in 2007. Somewhat over 9,000 views on your YouTube channel, and with a video image of you practicing and whatnot. It's such a long journey. I want to close the interview by again, like this weekend, the people of Hong Kong, the total experience from the moment that you buy the ticket, from now you're back to England. If you would sum up in 1 or 2 sentences, how would you sum it up? This whole long journey and this crowned by, if I may say, crowned by or put words in your mouth, crowned by this weekend in Hong Kong.
Well, I mean, simply, it was a dream come true.
Mm.
I mean, in essence, that's what it was. And to say anything more than that really is ineffable. It can't be summed up in words. It's indescribable. As I said, it was the best weekend in my entire life. I've never been so touched or overwhelmed by what happened.
Mm.
I will always, always, always be grateful to Hong Kong because they're the first people who've embraced my music,
Mm.
so whatever happens from here on is always going to hold a special place in my heart because it's been the highlight of my life, and
Mm.
I never saw it coming. And that's probably what was nice about it, because it was so unexpected
Mm.
that it just kind of added to the whole. It was magical. It really was just magical. And
Yeah.
you know, something that you would think would be in the movies, really. But and as you were saying, the whole journey from in 2007 when I wrote it to what happened now and where I was mentally and the place that I was at then, feeling so frustrated and so powerless and so hopeless. And then today, where I'm at with it now, and feeling, you know, kind of the opposite to that. And as I said, being able to be an example of how things can change and why you should never give up or never lose hope, because it may seem like it's over and there is no hope, but just around the corner could be the time of your life, or the, you know, the dream can still come true. So that's what I've learned from it, is to, you know, never give up on your dreams, because it may take a very long time, it might be a long journey getting there, but with perseverance, I think eventually something has to give. It's the law of averages, isn't it? If you keep on plugging away at something, eventually something has to give, and that's proven to be true in my life. And I hope, you know, I really hope that I can continue to build on that opportunity. I would love to come back to Hong Kong and sing more than one song, because I have many other songs,
Right.
and I would love to be able to do, you know, more of a concert or something like that. So, you know, fingers crossed. I'm working on that at the moment, and hopefully it will come to fruition soon.
Right. And you previously told me that sorry, there's some sort of echo right now. I hope it's not picking up in the recording. So you previously told me that this is even better than when the Olympics is your song. Is this still true?
It's very true. As I said, that was the best weekend of my life, because it's had such a it seems far more personal in the kind of reaction that I've got from it, in the messages that people have sent me, how it's kind of touched them on an individual basis, inspiring them with their own dreams and giving them hope. And, you know, just the fact, again, that it's on the other side of the world, there's something about that is kind of extra special, that it can connect with people, you know, even outside of England. And it's like it has a universal message, and that's what's kind of been proven to me. So I think that's what makes it more special.
I'll be neglecting my duty if I forget to ask this. I understand you actually share some videos of people playing drums back with your song backing. Like, can you talk a little bit about things that you've seen, like the drum, and how do you feel about that? People actually got inspired to create from your work.
Yeah, well, that is wonderful, you know, to see people have been kind of inspired or touched by it enough to want to cover the song. It's incredibly flattering for people to do that, and I've enjoyed seeing those videos so much. The drummer, and there's a guitarist as well. There's also a Cantonese version of "This Is My Dream" that a singer has recorded.
Oh, so they kind of translate or write something new to
yes.
the song, to the melody.
The song, yes. So yeah, it's amazing. It's showing that it's had an impact, and yeah, I mean, again, it's very touching. And I was saying on Facebook, you know, if I do get to come back and do a concert, then I've got half of my band already, because we've got the drummer, we've got the guitar. So it's you know, it's coming together quite nicely.
Wow, yeah, it's been a wonderful experience interviewing you, Kashy. Yeah, it's very late in England now, I know. And I look forward to chatting with you some more. And definitely, if there are good news with the Hong Kong television situation, I would love to talk to you again. And yeah, thank you very much for your time.
Brilliant. Thank you.